welcome back to my channel. My name is Brittney Bundles, and today's video is going to be going over some of the precautions and steps that I'm going to be taking to protect myself and my business during the coronavirus outbreak or during the coronavirus, spread. I'm going to definitely make sure that I am staying prayed up. I definitely trust God. And I am also going to be making sure that I change some of the behaviors that I do and some of my daily routine habits that I've become accustomed to make sure that I'm protecting myself and to make sure that everything's running smooth for me and my business. So I do want to say this before I go ahead and get started with the video. This is my disclaimer. I'm in no way, shape, or form telling you that this is what you have to do. I'm not saying this is what you need to do if you run an online business. I'm not saying that this is what you need to do if you want to be safe. I'm not saying this is what you need to do at all. What I'm going to do is simply express to you what I'm going to be doing to make sure that I'm protecting myself. And, if any of the tips or any of the information that I provide seems like it's going to be beneficial for you, definitely consult your doctor, pray about it, consider it, and make sure that it works best for you. I talk a lot in my videos about what works well for one. It's not going to work well for all. But let's go ahead and get right into the video. Before we do so, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Please make sure that you are subscribed, and let's get right into the video. Okay, so number one, I have my tips right here. The first thing that I'm going to be doing is limiting the amount of trips that I make to the post office. If you've been following my channel, if you follow me on Instagram, a lot of times I will express some of the different things that I do to make sure that I'm working as efficient as I possibly can. And so, tonight, for example, my son has a basketball game. So what I would typically do is go ahead, take a look at my orders, make sure the orders are packaged up, and go to the post office and mail them out. So if I got back in time enough for, before my son's game or before I had to do anything else, if I've gotten more orders and I have the, a customer decided to order 3 bundles of 18-inch body wave, and I know that I have 3 bundles of 18-inch body wave in my inventory, I will go ahead and just make another trip to the post office. So, I have made multiple trips to the post office in one day. Because of the coronavirus that's going around, I definitely want to make sure that I'm not going to move in fear, but I am going to move in precaution. I am going to make sure that I'm taking the necessary steps to limit exposure to the public as much as I can. I'm not saying live in a bubble, live in a shell, don't live your life, don't run your business. I'm not saying that. But for me personally, I'm going to make sure that I am taking precautions. I just think it's wise to do that. And so I'm going to limit the trips. So instead of me making multiple trips to the post office each day, I am now going to be going to the post office at the most once a day. And like I said, that's because I just want to limit the amount of exposure that I am putting myself, into by frequenting the post office multiple times. Now, the second thing that I'm going to be doing is avoiding handshakes and using like elbow taps instead. So a lot of times in business, when you are speaking to people in the public about your business, or when you are, say you bump into someone, even at the post office, and they want to know more about your products or your services, a lot of times, I'll hand out a business card, or you may hand out a business card and do a handshake. Or if you're selling hair on hand, there's been different times that I've sold hair on hand, and I've actually did like a handshake after the transaction just to kind of solidify everything. And now that the coronavirus is going around, I'm not saying that I'm never going to shake any hands, but for the time being, I am going to avoid handshakes. And I think that's really wise to do for anyone that's, operating a business, even if you're not operating a business. Handshakes are definitely, I love shaking hands. I love kind of solidifying our deals and things like that. But, I want to make sure that we're being as safe as we possibly can. So I'm probably going to do like an elbow nudge for the time being. I'm not going to do any handshaking. Also, number 3, definitely carry Lysol wipes and sanitizer. So I carry Lysol wipes in my car, just in case I need to wipe anything down, just in case I need to, pretty much wipe anything down. I also would like to carry sanitizer, although my sanitizer is really, really low. And I've gone to like 5 stores yesterday looking for sanitizer, and they're completely sold out. I've gone online and tried to order a sanitizer in my area, and it's completely sold out. And so there are different, there's recipes on how you can make your own sanitizer. So if you have to do that with alcohol, and I believe it's like aloe, then you can, find out what's going to work best for you and carry a container with you. So after you leave the post office, you can put sanitizer on, or after you leave the store, you can put sanitizer on, or after you leave whatever place you were just at, you can definitely go ahead and put sanitizer on and also use those Lysol wipes. So the next tip is wash hands before filling orders and also touching the computer. So, I'm pretty clean as it is. I make sure that my hands are clean and sterile when I do package orders, even before the coronavirus. But I just want to put that tip out there because not everyone washes their hands before they fill their orders. You do want to make sure that you're being clean and sanitary when you are processing any orders. I know there's some people that are like, hey, that virus doesn't last through the mail. Hey, you really don't have to be that clean. If you have anything, it'll die off before your customer gets the package. Whatever the case may be, I think it's still a good practice to make sure that you're washing your hands before you're touching a product that you're going to be sending to someone else. Make sure that your hands are clean. Also, before you touch your computer, make sure that your computer is wiped down. So use those wipes, wipe down your keyboard, wipe down your mouse. I'm not the only one that uses my computer. Sometimes I'll let my kids get on the computer. And so I'm just making sure that I'm just being very, thorough and intentional behind my cleaning methods, especially during this time. So making sure that I'm wiping down the computer after every use, and so I think that's really helpful as well. The same goes for your laptop. The same goes for a tablet. Also, limit in-person networking events. Now, I know, some people don't want to do this. And again, like I said in the beginning of the video, if you don't want to do any of these tips, then you don't have to do them. I'm simply expressing what I'm going to be doing. So I am going to be limiting in-person networking events. I was actually invited to an event next weekend that I'm not going to be going to until the coronavirus dies down. The coronavirus is spreading pretty rapidly. And I'm not saying this to scare anyone. Like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, I definitely am going to stay prayed up. But I also like to make sure that I'm taking the right precautions. And so if I know that a virus is spreading, and if I know that a virus is, people have been tested positive in my area, then I'm going to make sure that I'm doing everything I can to protect myself and my family and also others from, contracting the virus. And so I'm not going to be going to any events where we're in a close networking, space. Until I know that, everything has kind of cooled down with the coronavirus. So that's one of the things that I'm not going to be doing that will affect my business, but not in a, I don't feel like it's going to affect my business in a way that's going to put me out of business. And it's not going to affect my business in a way that's going to, necessarily, for me, I like to weigh my options, you know what I mean? And so missing one networking event, in my opinion, I definitely don't want to downplay how important networking is, but I also don't want to downplay how important your health is and your safety is either. And so if I have to weigh the two, then I'm going to choose my health and my safety. Not saying that I would get anything by going to the networking event. I'm just saying I choose to kind of go ahead and postpone and hold off and cancel any networking events that are in the near future. Okay, so the next tip is wash hands for over 20 seconds when running in to grab a bite on the road. So a lot of times if you do operate an online business, then you know how it is. When you're out, when you're mailing out orders, or when you're out, you're coming from a networking event, or when you're out getting items for your business, you may say, I'm hungry. You get hungry sometimes, and you may want to stop and grab a bite to eat. But before I do that, I'm definitely going to be going into the establishment and washing my hands. I know I said keep sanitizer with you, but there's no substitute for actually washing your hands. I think a lot of people think that sanitizer is a substitute for washing your hands. And although sanitizer is a good, it's something to use if you can't wash your hands and to kind of clean your hands. But I wouldn't say that I'm going to rely on sanitizer opposed to washing my hands. That's me personally. If you want to rely on sanitizer and not wash your hands, that's on you. But for me, I'm definitely going to be washing my hands a lot more than I have been washing them before. And before I grab a bite to eat, I'm going to be cautious about, making sure my hands are thoroughly washed and not just running them under the water for a couple of seconds. You'll be surprised how many times I go into like a public restroom and I see people wash their hands, but literally washing their hands is just getting soap, doing this and letting the water run the soap off and going out the restroom. I'm going to need some thorough washing of the hands, especially if you have nails on. I wash my nails as well. Make sure you're getting soap underneath your nails because nails can carry, bacteria. And so you want to make sure, especially if you have longer nails on. I know people may get upset like, hey, you're supposed to be for us. You have nails. I am for you. I have nails. But because I have nails, I'm not going to be naive to the fact that, these can carry bacteria. So I'm going to be making sure that I make sure, to thoroughly clean my hands and also my nails. The next thing I want to go over is consider offering Skype meetings opposed to in-person meetings. So a lot of people do like in-person meetings. You meet up, you may discuss different business opportunities. You may discuss different networking events that you want to plan in the future. You may be doing a consultation in person. And so if you are someone that offers consultations in person, and if you are someone that meets up with different people in person for different business events, I would strongly recommend creating a Skype and urging people to Skype with you for your meeting versus meeting you in public. I really think if you set the right expectation and explain to people why you're wanting to Skype opposed to meet in person, people are going to respect it. A lot of times people get nervous, especially, entrepreneurs, we get nervous sometimes to say no. And I'm going to touch on that later on in the video. But sometimes we get a little nervous to say no, I don't feel comfortable doing this, or no, this is going to work better for me. But the longer you stay in business, I know for me, the longer I've been in business, the easier it's become for me to say no. The easier it's become for me to say, you know what, this is going to work best for me. And it's not about being mean. It's not about being rude. It's really just about being direct and upfront and setting boundaries with yourself and with your business. If you don't know how to say no, then it's going to be I don't want to say it's going to be, but it can be very stressful based on my previous experiences running a business, because you don't really have a clear guideline or clear boundaries of, how your business and how you're going to operate and what you're going to accept and what you're not going to accept. And so just letting people know, hey, I'm sure you've heard about the coronavirus. I'm sure you've heard about, all of the warnings and the, disclosures that have gone out. And so to protect myself and also to protect you and others, I'm conducting meetings via Skype. I meet with many people, and, I want to make sure that I'm not necessarily contracting the virus and passing it to someone else. I want to make sure that, no one else is contracting it and passing it on to me when, I can possibly pass it on. I just want to make sure that we're being safe. And so during, the next few months, I'm going to still offer my services. I'm still going to offer my resources, my knowledge. I'm still going to be able to offer my services to your business. But at this point, I'm going to offer them via Skype. You know what I mean? Or I'm going to offer them via email, or I'm going to offer them via phone. So whatever works best for you. Also, wipe down your cell phone. So cell phones are really germy things. A lot of times we don't think about it. And I'm guilty of not thinking about wiping down my cell phone all the time. Sometimes I'll get nervous, like, can I put this type of wipe on my phone? But whatever, I'm taking my chance and I'm wiping down my phone. Sometimes you set your phone places that you don't even think about. I know when I go into the post office, if I'm, sealing up the side of a package, or if I'm going ahead and just even making sure that all of my packages are here, I didn't leave anything in the car, sometimes I'll sit this bad boy right on the counter and, make sure I'm doing what I need to do. And so just like that, your phone can definitely be a ground for bacteria, for germs. And so I'm going to be making sure that I wipe down my phone after setting it down, and also being more cautious of where I sit my phone down. So if I'm in the post office, instead of going ahead and sitting it on the table, I may take it now and just put it in my pocket, or I may take it now and just keep it in my purse, or I may even leave it in the car. But just thinking proactively and making sure that I'm thinking of everything and not really moving too fast, because I can be guilty of moving pretty fast. I don't want to say fast, but very efficiently, because I like to make sure that everything's being done and that I'm checking off everything on my list, and that my customers are happy. I'm happy. The people that I'm working with via consultations are happy. I mean, everyone's happy. And so, I'm definitely going to make sure that I'm slowing down and I'm looking at, okay, Brittney, don't sit your phone there. Brittney, okay, leave this in the car. Brittney, did you wipe down this? So I'm not going to be paranoid. I'm just going to be cautious. Okay, now my next tip is limit or avoid customers running fingers through samples for the time being, and offer different or other sample options. So what I mean by that is, if you don't watch, this channel, if you don't follow me on any of my social media networks, then you probably don't know that I offer hair extensions. I sell hair extensions. The website is down below this video. It's badchickhair.com if you want to check it out. But I know that when you're offering hair on hand, a lot of times people will ask to run their fingers or touch the sample. So say you purchase a sample kit from my website, and you have, that for that sample kit, you carry it with you. You take pictures for your social media. You take pictures for your website. And then you also, carry it with you so that if potential customers want to run their fingers through it or want to look at the hair in person, they can do so. And so during this time, especially, I would personally limit the amount of people that I'm allowing to touch the hair, because you don't want to get into, someone possibly being sick, touching the bundles, you putting it back in your car, you possibly getting sick, and then you taking it out for someone else to touch and them possibly getting sick. But we really have to think about especially when you're operating a business, is, not only are you protecting yourself, but you're wanting to protect your customers too. You're wanting to protect anyone that you're working with as well. And so we just have to think about the whole picture. You know what I mean? So I would offer different sample options. If that means that customers are going to be able to purchase samples, so pieces of the bundles that you have, offer that. If that means that customers are going to be able to, actually buy a 12-inch bundle, that's what you're going to sell as a sample, offer that. But you can definitely offer different sample options. I actually have a whole video on my channel in my playlist. I have a hair business playlist on this channel. So definitely click that after this video and take a look, through the playlist, because I do have a whole video on offering different sample options. So I'm not saying that you're saying no to customers testing your hair, or you're saying no to customers filling your hair, or being able to actually, lay eyes on the hair. I'm not saying that at all, but I'm saying that there's alternative ways. You don't necessarily have to just think of one way. There's always, multiple ways that we can run our business. And so especially during this time, I think a lot of customers will respect the fact that you are limiting the amount of exposure, on-hand exposure that you're offering to your samples, because I'm sure your customers don't want to get sick either. So just explaining it in the right way and letting your customers know, hey, I'm not offering the sample option that I offered before, where I will let you actually fill through the bundles because of the coronavirus and, just safety precautions. But I am offering samples through this link, or I am offering samples here, or I am offering 12-inch samples if you'd like to go to my website and purchase one. This way, the sample is actually yours. This way, if you want to run water through it, if you want to curl it, if you want to dye it, if you want to bleach it, you can have at it. You can really do a thorough test. So we want to make sure that we're selling on the benefits, we're highlighting the benefits, and we're also setting the right expectation and explaining why our company has decided to move from one practice to another. And a lot of people will respect it, believe me. The next tip that I do want to go over is drink lots of water and take vitamins. I do want to say consult your doctor before taking any vitamins. So I'm guilty of missing vitamins. I'm not going to say that I take vitamins every day, because I don't. I would love to. Sometimes I get in my routine where I'm taking vitamins religiously, and then, some things happen, and then I fall back on taking vitamins every day. But I do want to make sure that I am taking vitamins, especially during this time, not just, necessarily for the coronavirus, but just in general. When you take vitamins, it makes you feel better. It protects you against, it can help build up your immune system to protect you against more viruses than just the coronavirus. And so it's something that I really should have been doing before this, before the coronavirus even arrived. So it's something that I should have been doing, and it's something that I have done, but I kind of, strayed away from it. So this is a good reminder that I do need to make sure that I'm taking care of myself, and that I am taking my vitamins and drinking water, because I'll probably, sometimes I'll go a day without drinking water. I'll drink coffee. I might drink some juice. I may get a pop for dinner, and then I'm like, crap, I didn't drink any water. So I'm definitely going to be making sure that I'm increasing my water intake and also my vitamins. And then the last thing that I want to go over is get rest, and don't be afraid to say no or get on a schedule. So I'm going to circle back around to saying no. Saying no in business isn't, like I said before, being mean. It's not wrong. It's not like you're trying to, just force your power, and it's nothing like that. But you definitely, sometimes you're going to have to say no in order to build a structure with your business. I made videos a while ago going over my experience when I first started my hair company, and, me not really having a clear outline of what my processes were, what my policies were, how my business run, what's my business flow. And so a lot of times I would find myself in the middle of yes and yes. I didn't feel like I could say no, because I really didn't know. Like, Brittney, do you want to do this? Is this what you? So I always talk about making sure that we have our processes, making sure that we have our routines, and making sure that we understand how our business runs, so that it's easier for us to explain to others, hey, this is something that we don't do. This is something that we do. And then also getting on a schedule. So like I said, with the post office, instead of making multiple trips to the post office, limiting yourself to, I'm making one trip to the post office each day, or I'm making 2 trips per week to the post office, or this is what I'm doing. And then making sure that you communicate that on your website accordingly. So setting the right expectations. I talk about that in almost every video. A lot of times customers aren't mad just because of a new rule or a new process, but they may be upset because of, the proper expectation hasn't been communicated with them. It hasn't been outlined. And so make sure that you're just setting the right expectation, and make sure that you're figuring out a plan that works best for you. If you know that you need more rest, a lot of times I'll feel myself getting tired. I'm like, you know what? I'll go to sleep later on tonight. And, that's not good. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying just allow yourself to sleep all day for, every day and don't do anything. I'm not saying that, because you also can get your body used to not working and just constantly sleeping to the point that you always feel tired because you're always sleeping. But you do want to consult with your doctor and get on a routine that's going to work best for you. So, hey, after this time, I'm not responding back to any emails. I need my rest. Or, hey, after this time, this is when my business cuts down. Even on my website, I have a chat option where customers can go on my website and chat with me if they have any questions. But I still have a stopping point each day. I still have a point where I have a message that pops up on my chat that says, hey, thank you for reaching out. I'm not available. Please leave your question and your email address, and I'll reply to you as soon as I get back in. So, just making sure that I'm setting the right expectations and making sure that I'm also allowing myself to have a schedule and a routine with my business definitely keeps me going. So ultimately, in conclusion, what I want to say is, never live in fear. I'm not saying, allow the coronavirus to just keep you in a bubble, allow the coronavirus to not allow you to live your life. I'm not saying anything like that. I mean, ultimately, for me, I trust God. I pray about it. But also, I'm going to make sure that I'm moving, changing some of the things that I'm doing to make sure that I'm protecting myself and my business the best that I can. And then, what I can't do and even what I can do, I'm going to put it in God's hands. So again, this is not a video saying be scared. This is not a video saying, hey, I'm forcing fear down your throat, anything like that. I'm simply going over some things that I'm going to be doing differently. And, maybe it's going to help some other people as well. So I really hope that this video helped. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.